Hello and welcome to episode 45 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft. Joining me, as always, my esteemed co-host, mi mejor co-anfitrión, Seth Martin.
I'm gonna need you to slow down, Bad Bunny. What did you just say to me?
Mm, I called you my best co-host,
Oh, that's so sweet.
Seth
That's so
Martin.
sweet. I
I
feel
was
like you
practicing
butchered it though.
before. I did. Mi mejor
Okay.
co-anfitrión. That's how you're supposed to say it. I was practicing
Mm.
it before. I stumbled over it this time. Seth, did you watch the game on Sunday?
The watched is a strong word. It was on, and I was at a Super Bowl party, but like between watching the kids and making sure they didn't I was at somebody else's house, so you never know. They did fine, but just wasn't a lot of focus on the game. I
There
enjoyed the
wasn't.
halftime show though, from what I could see and hear of it. I thought it was awesome in a lot of ways. So if that's a political statement that offends you, I'm so sorry, world.
Yeah, look, to be quite honest, if that offends you, I don't have a whole lot of time for you at this point. So,
Oh my
my
god!
God, he said it. But no, I loved it, dude. The game sucked. That was a terrible Super Bowl, but it was one of those like going in, you kind of knew it was going to be a terrible Super Bowl because New England kind of had an easy path. It was clear Seattle was that so much better, and but for as bad as the game was, it was made up for tenfold by the Bad Bunny halftime show. And Seth, I'm not one to go back and watch a halftime show performance. I've went back and watched the halftime again, and I've also added like 6 Bad Bunny songs to my like playlist on Spotify. I don't speak a lick of Spanish, don't know anything, but the vibes immaculate.
Hey, you're working on it, Captain, Capitan. I'm impressed.
Yeah, and the Kid Rock concert, awesome. Oh man,
The little bits that I've seen from that, absolutely not. But
dude, though I keep getting the clip of the other country singer who's like, "I just want to kiss my fish." Have you seen this guy?
no, no, I haven't seen that before. I've just seen Kid Rock.
So hold on. I'm not gonna find the lyrics. It's basically he says, I just want to catch my fish, drink my beer, drive my truck, wear my boots, something. Just all this like regular ass stuff. And then he's like, but it's just hard being country in this country today. Like, what the fuck, man? What are you even talking about at this point? Who's stopping you from catching your fish and wearing your boots, you know? The man.
I
That's who.
guess, yeah, the IRS.
Oh man. How's your week going? You're back at school.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I don't even do that much, I feel like, but just being around all the hormones and the tension of day-to-day life with the youths, it's taxing. So I'm like I said, I've got my mushroom coffee right here. I'm ready to rally. See what happens.
Yeah, man, we got this. I'm excited. We got some exciting news to talk about. We got a lot of news to talk about today. So we'll jump into that here in just a moment. But this is Rival Banter. Me and my best co-host Seth Martin get together every week and talk about all things Marvel Rivals, then push it out to you on Spotify, podcast services everywhere, honestly, and YouTube. Just search up Rival Banter and you'll find us. You can also follow us on social media at Rival Banter on TikTok and Instagram. And Seth, last month, in the month of January, between TikTok, YouTube, and uh, what's the other one? Instagram. Is that the one I didn't say?
I think that is a thing. Yeah.
We got over 500,000 views on our content. So,
My God.
so yeah, thanks to everybody who's been watching and engaging with the stuff that we're putting out over there. We're having a lot of fun making this show. It sounds like people are having fun listening to the show. And I'm very happy about that. So if you're listening over on Spotify or on iTunes now, leave us a 5-star review. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you haven't yet, come on over and join our Discord where we're talking about, the new balance changes. And I was asking some people about who should I watch if I want to get good at Venom, stuff like that. So yeah, link to that's in the description below. Come on over and join us. Seth sent a couple messages in there this week. ladies and
For
gentlemen.
once, yeah, yeah.
So you,
Messages is a strong word. I dropped some pictures of bad rivals names, and by bad I mean kind of awesome too at
yeah,
the same time. Some good ones.
yeah, more on that later. But let's start off our show and kick off like we start every show by talking about some viewer comments that we got last week. Clayton over on Spotify said literally the biggest problem with this game is that it relies on six random people working together against triple support or not that's an immense task. I should have proofread some of this. But there's no way to fix it without the game becoming 1v1. The randomness of who you'll have for better or worse is a huge part of the fun with a little shrug emoji. Um, I mean, it's a team based game. It's a very team based game. I don't think it's wholly unique in this, competitive space. But what do you make of that comment, Seth?
My first impression is fun is a strong word as someone who loves this game very much. That's part of the experience, sure. But I don't know that it not necessarily has to be. I think, like we've said many, many times before, there are ways to kind of work around that to where, yeah, you might be working with strangers, but maybe you can kind of choose the strangers that you're working with a little bit more, or at least have a little bit more control over that. Add the button in there, guang guang, but that's just my tiny opinion.
Yeah, I mean, fun's a weird word because I don't think I would necessarily like define it as fun, but I do think that it is like an intrinsic challenge of playing these kinds of games, and it's kind of one of those like what you sign up for when you start playing it.
Yeah,
Whereas like,
yeah. Well, I understand the comment, and I definitely
yeah,
appreciate the comment for sure.
well, and I feel, but I do feel like other games like COD or something like that, where like you still have random teammates, but it's not quite as dependent, so like when you're in coming into hero shooters, I think part of the sell for people is like convincing them that it's worth trying to navigate the different compositions you'll have to play with because of your teammates choices and skills.
and and people get a very emotional. It's like soccer. I think it is the soccer of gaming right now, because like people get so invested. You go to soccer matches and hear people say ungodly things to other human beings that they've never met before, like down at the field or whatever, and are on the pitch. And same kind of thing here. Like I played like one bad game of Rival. I don't even think it was bad. It's just that some of the numbers weren't quite there last night, and somebody was just telling me it was time to retire. It was it was time to give it up, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah, the passion is there, and that's how you know it's something special.
For sure. Then LogD85 Private 2 over on Instagram responded to some stuff about Hawkeye. Said, I feel like Hawkeye needs more trick arrows and less damage on his primary. His whole thing is trick arrows and crazy trick shots. It'd be kind of cool to have like an arrow that bounces off walls, a shrink arrow, an arrow that makes a big pile of goo that slows enemies. I doubt they'll rework Hawkeye himself because he's quite popular, but if they ever add Kate Bishop, it'd be fun to do that. I don't know who Kate Bishop is. I thought that was some sort of a pop singer from the great land of Britain.
I'm not laughing because like you're supposed to know who Kate Bishop is. I'm just like that's the first place that you're. It wasn't. Is that the Stranger Things lady? Now that like the one with the song. What was that
Oh, with
song?
only could.
Yeah, yeah, that one. What's her name?
No, that's not Kate
Is,
Bishop.
is she a Kate?
I think so. Hold on. If I only could.
Kate Bush. It's Kate
Kate
Bush.
Bush.
I
Okay.
didn't have to look
Yes.
it up. I'm pretty
Daughter
sure
of George
it's.
W. Yes.
Is that true?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, just making sure. I have a dream. I think I just found it like as we were starting the show. That's my cat making ungodly noises in the background too. I think this show would like really flourish if it was just kind of tangentially about Marvel Rivals. Like we still cover, we still cover the news, but kind of like those early like It's Always Sunny podcasts. Like they just get totally just outrageously off topic to the point where like what are we even talking about?
Yeah.
And maybe somebody tries to reel us back in, but I don't know what the hell were we talking about. Kate Bush, Kate
Kate
Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah. Don't know who
Yeah,
that is.
I do love that idea. She had a show. I forget what the show was called. It's in the MCU. Haley Steinfeld played her, and she's basically Hawkeye. She's just like a young teenage. I don't know if she's a teenager or not, but she's like a young Hawkeye lady. she like kind of starts like studying under Hawkeye. She's friends with him, and they just they have a dog, and they get into hijinks and adventures or whatever. I love the idea. I do like. I don't think it's unprecedented to think that they could rework Hawkeye though. Think about like Diva in Overwatch way back when. I know that I played her. She was one of my mains when we first played the game way back when, and then I went back to her like 2 years later, 2 years into Overwatch One or like early Overwatch Two, and she was like a totally different character. Like she had different functions and things that she could do. Those things had changed or disappeared, and I think it was cool. I wasn't ready for it or expecting it. I didn't know that that was something a person could do, is change the character that drastically. But here we are. So I think it's not out of the realm of possibility for Hawkeye. But then again, um, I mean, he's pretty good, pretty tough right now.
Yeah, I think I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. I think they did kind of just make him an Archer character without maybe considering some of this the more unique angle here. But I do also know that like there probably was some we want to avoid the Hanzo comparison. So having like arrows that bounce and stuff like that might have been something that they scratched off the board early. But um, yeah, I don't know if I think this is the sort of stuff you would have to add if you took away like his one shot ability is give him more utility to play around. Because I do think taking that away would kind of remove a lot of the incentive to play and be good at him. Then the next comment is from Butter Toast, and this is one of those where it was just kind of representative of a handful of comments that we got. But this was about me saying they should bring gambling to the clobbering club. He said, "Don't let this guy ever make a game ever, bro. Gambling, really?" And dude, the amount of like pearl clutching that was going on in the comments of this video when I posted it up on the different platforms is crazy to me. And look, I kind of get it, right? Like as a society, since sports gambling's become legal in a lot more states and stuff like that, we've kind of been inundated with gambling. And so I get that it can feel a little overwhelming when somebody wants to add it to yet another thing. But I wasn't even talking about like real money. I was just talking about like some fake in-game currency that you only get at the clobbering club. But people are just
Well,
up in arms.
you were not very specific about that at all, Captain. But I didn't think twice about it. I do know, like, I definitely get the idea though, that Butter Toast is talking about here. Like, I didn't realize as a pretty new sports fan, like to the idea of like traditional sports in general. I just kind of like assumed that like if you watch a basketball game on TV that that like you've always been seeing this stuff, but like my god, knowing that it hasn't been that way until like the past what, how many years,
Like 3 or 4 years.
like
Yeah,
3 or 4, okay. Just kind of knowing that is like, oh my god, like it's totally wildly different. Like you can't watch for 10 seconds without like some kind of either like some kind of sports gambling service being advertised or thrown into your face, getting mad kinds of offers, this money thrown at you or whatever. It's buck wild.
yeah. For those of you who've stuck with us for since the beginning of the show, or at least since last summer, you likely know I'm a huge Cleveland Guardians fan. Um, Spring training starts a week from Saturday. I'm very excited about it. But there was this scandal last year where their closer, who was also like the best closer in baseball, Emmanuel Clase, um, got caught. Uh, Making prop bets on pitches that he would make. So he would put a prop bet on something like first pitch of the ninth inning is a ball, and he'd go out and he'd like throw it wildly out of the zone. Him and then he got another pitcher named Luis Ortiz into this stuff. They end up getting suspended. Big deal. They're also like facing federal charges for it and that sort of stuff. Anyway, it was just really like awkward because Guardians TV is like sponsored by FanDuel. So every pregame they do like a same game parlay, like put these three stats on your betting slip. So they would like get done giving this update on Clase being suspended for gambling and then be like, all right, guys, Logan Allen over 6.5 strikeouts this game, and it was just like this weird friction. I agree that it's probably too inundated in our society. So I guess I get sort of the sensitivities around it, but I think the pearl clutching was just the really funny part of those comments to me this week. Then we have Ther8 Pudic, who was talking about the changing point on point 3 of the Museum of Contemplation. Says it's a mobile shield with height and heals. That's an issue competitively, but I've just accepted that this is not as serious in the competitive space anymore. We were talking about some people having issues with that point, Seth. What do you think about that?
I guess that is like a pretty accurate way of looking at it. Like it's huge, and so there's a lot of like room for you to hide behind it. I've always kind of played or tried to when I'm using my thinking brain, my thinking cap. I try to use the point as cover anyway, especially if I'm playing as a support or something like that. So I get that, and I'm a little sad and worried about the last part though. Like I feel for you, accepted that it's not serious in the competitive scene or space. Is I don't know. Is that a bad thing?
I mean, I guess I get the criticism when it comes to these sorts of design decisions where it feels like it heavily benefits one side versus the other. I think it's compounded by some of the issues we'll likely talk about as we get to some of the balance changes coming in 6.5.
Mm,
But, like, I do think that Rivals has tried to be pretty clear from the start that they want to cater more towards like the casual audience of people just wanting to play the power fantasy of their favorite superheroes. But that doesn't mean that they haven't attracted a competitive scene that I don't feel like they serve much in game itself. Um, things like I mean, they did give us things like placement matches and stuff like that, but I do think that they're much more focused on kind of the fun and antics that surround the game itself versus making the like the the actual rank structure like very you know what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like, I mean, competitive, fair for both sides. But the more I think about it, man, the more I'm like, both teams get a chance to be on attack and use this point if they reach six
yeah,
three.
that's true. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I just maybe hadn't gotten around to it so eloquently. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is concerning for sure, but you're right. Yeah, that is a strong point though. I'm gonna be thinking about that now from match to match. Like, how can I use this as a huge ass shield? I like that.
Yeah. Then DC Brenton over in our Discord said, great job on yesterday's episode. I know next week will be stuffed with season 6.5 content discussion, but do you think you'll talk about the recent Overwatch news? I've never played Overwatch, but knowing you're familiar, I think it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on how all the new content dropping for them on the 10th might push rivals. Do you think we'll see NetEase do anything in response, or will they just stay the chorus? So, Seth, have you kept up much with the Overwatch news?
Just a tiny bit. I know you've talked a lot about it as we've played some matches the past few days. Number one, I just want to say I love the first part of this message. Just the great job on the episode. Like that just gave me like the butterflies. Totally not kidding. I like that a lot. It made me feel good. But yeah, I mean this is exciting. I don't know that it's enough. Like even hearing you talking about how different the game feels. Like it's been really easy to compare this game that we love so much to Overwatch, which we also used to love so much, and just kind of like say how they're so similar and how this is kind of just a huge ripoff from that game. But from what you say, the game is it's hugely different than it used to
Mhm.
be when we played way back when. It's continued to evolve and grow and change, and so it sounds like that's like what we've kind of thought or what most people have kind of thought about this. The concept is the same, sure, but they are vastly different games, and I guess that's how um they've both kind of continued to grow and like bloom over the past few years. So I that being said, don't really have much of an interest in playing Overwatch anymore. It kind of makes me a little bit more interested to get back into watching it. Kind of whip out those old Overwatch League jerseys and flaunt them. And yeah, it's something we'll probably talk about a little bit more when we get to some of the league news coming up here in a while.
For sure. Um, yeah, I just kind of stumbled across the Overwatch news last week. I got on YouTube and I think Flats was like reacting to their like
Mhm.
showcase that they had, and I was like, I'll tune in, see what's going on. And they're just kind of not totally resetting the universe by any stretch, but kind of resetting the narrative path that they're taking, where they're kind of doing this like uh each year is one story arc. And so all the characters that are being introduced kind of interplay. They're doing these big cinematics like they used to do. I don't know if they ever stopped doing those, but the big news was that they're adding in 5 new characters: a tank, uh, two DPS, and 2 healers into the game, and those got added in today. And then some other things that they added were like they've added sub roles to the roles. So you have
Mm.
your tanks, but then you have like divisions of those tanks, and each of the subdivisions has like its own passive that's unique to that sub role, which I think is really cool. And I think that's something that rivals could adopt for themselves. And I think it's kind of a way to educate people on how to build team compositions, that you don't want like 2 snipers and this sort of thing. Like, gives more diversity. Um,
Yeah, I do like that.
yeah, I think like overall, it got me really excited. I ended up reinstalling it and was playing over the weekend. And some of this stuff will come up as we get to the balance changes later in the episode, but the game does feel wildly different than Rivals. And it's like you're saying, they're similar only in shape. Like because the neutral matters a whole lot more in Overwatch. Ult charge is a lot slower, healing output is a lot lower. It feels like you have a lot more kind of self-sustain tools regardless of the role that you're in. And I think it's a nice change of pace. As far as pushing Rivals, though, I hope this is what competition's all about, man. Like, competition makes products better. And I think Overwatch has benefited from the competition of Rivals by having to go back and like reset their vision. And I think people are more excited about Overwatch now than they have been in years, because of these new characters.
Who's the guy that invented capitalism? Is that Adam Smith or is that the Mormon guy?
No, that's Joseph Smith. So it must be
Joe.
Adam
Okay,
Smith.
different Smith. Is it Adam? Adam Smith Capital. Yeah. Okay, he would be proud. Adam Smith. Old
Mhm.
Adam would be. He's smiling from heaven. That we've mastered the art of competition in 2026.
Yeah. It does feel like Overwatch is a little more aware of Rivals that, like, other than the inverse. Like, I don't think Rivals is paying as much attention to Overwatch and making their decisions based off of it, because Rivals is the new kid on the block, and people were excited about it. As we get past the 1 year mark now into year 2 of Rivals, I hope that they start to take the pressure from Overwatch and benefit the product that they have. But we'll get to more of that here in a bit, I'm sure. Thank you guys for your comments. If you want to have your comment read and responded to, drop a comment either in our Discord, on one of our videos, or on one of our episodes on Spotify. All right, Seth, are you ready for this week's game?
Let's see what we can do.
All right. Are you in the show notes? Because I've got these saved somewhere else. I'm going to copy and paste each one in to the sheet, and you'll be blind ranking them from there. So, Seth, we are blind ranking unhinged in-game names for Marvel Rivals. So I'm going to show you a name. You have to place it between 1 through 5. And we'll go from there. These are all ones that were dropped into our Discord that we found throughout the week. If you guys want to submit to a future episode of this, make sure you join our Discord and share the crazy names you encountered. All right, Seth, I'm going to put this in there, and then you will read the name and rank it 1 to 5. Here we go.
I remember this one. So I read it, right?
Yeah, you read it.
All right. This is, and the spelling is what really makes this one magical to me. It's huge bulge, but it's one word. Hew is in like HEW. There's a G in the middle that kind of brings it all together, and then it's BULJ. Wait, I give this, what's the max rank?
So you're ranking it 1's the best to 5 is the least best.
Okay, and can there be more than one rank of the
No,
same rank?
no, whatever slot you put it in is
Okay,
where it goes.
okay, this is an internet thing.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. I've seen it now. I know what the kids are doing. I really did enjoy this. It's not like I don't know. It's laugh out loud funny, but it's not like guffawing funny,
Mhm.
which is a strong laugh for the kids at home that can't read good. I'm giving this a 3. I'm giving it a 3, right kind of smack in the middle. It's entertaining, but it's not like I'm gonna go home and like tell my wife about it.
Yeah.
I
Do
don't
you
know about
often
the
do
huge,
that?
but no, she stopped caring long ago.
All right, here's your next one, Seth.
Oh god damn, that's number 1, my man. That's
Read it for us.
this is he was picking Thor in the pregame lobby. This is Squirt Tsunami. and and the squirt is SKWERT. Squirt, like squirt tsunami. It's how I think our president would say the word squirt, which I'm sure he has at some point. Squirt tsunami. I'm pretty sure I was playing this game in school, and I think that's where I sent this. This was like after school when we were doing esports, and I think a kid saw me snap a picture of this on my phone and kind of like side-eyed me for a second, but I don't know.
Yeah, you got to save that for posterity. So, all right, Squirt Tsunami going at number
It's
one.
just the name of the game. It's just how the game is played.
That's right. That's right. All right, here's your next one, Seth. This one won't be familiar to you. This is an older one for us. Seth does not know which ones I picked, by the way. So he's reacting to these in real time. What's this one, Seth?
I wish I put save number 1. I didn't see anything beating Squirt Tsunami. This is Eden. This is Eden Beaver. I feel like I feel like this one is kind of dated because I don't beaver is a euphemism for vagina. and well, I mean, a euphemism is a way of saying something inappropriate or crude in a nice way. Um, so it has so much going for it. It's a pun, like Eden instead of eating. Um, this is a god. I got to give it number 2. I've got to, but just because 1 is taken, I can't switch them, right?
No, can't switch them. You're blind ranking them. All right, so
Sweet
we got
Lord.
4
All
and
right.
5 left, Seth. You ready for your next one?
Yes, please. I remember this one.
This is from the same. So, for a little context, this one's from the same game as Huge Bulge.
They were on the same team too.
Yeah, they were.
They were probably in a 2-stack at least.
Yeah.
This is. I feel nasty saying this. It's
I'll believe you.
Cleocontra, with the hard C word in there. This is a 4 for me. No, this is 5. I'm going 5 with Cleocontra. It's there. It's got the shock factor, but I think I appreciate the art of a great name like Eden Beaver.
Yeah, yeah. Cleocontra. Also, I'll bleep it in the short. I'm not going to bleep it in the long episode. But
You set me up, you son of a bitch.
I'm not editing this shit. Yeah, it was good. It would have been good if it was the only outlandish name in the lobby, but Huge Bulge was better in that lobby, so it loses points
I
for that.
agree.
All right, Seth, this is going to be your number 4, but I'm showing it to you anyway so you can react to it. Why is it always Thor?
I think 4 is a good fit for this one. Like it's just funny because of how just ridiculous it is, like how just crude. This one is horse meat dong 6. Horse meat dong 6. Apparently, horse meat dongs 1 through 5 were taken
Does
with
the 6
random
make it
names.
funnier? I feel like the 6
I
makes it funnier.
think so. Yeah.
Like this guy tried 5 or 6 times to get a name and was just frustrated until he got one that worked.
Like, I'm trying every number I can think of.
All right, that's a solid list, Seth. And I think I love this segment. So I want more of the community to get involved. Send us the unhinged names that you encounter week to week, and I'll throw these at Seth next week to blind rank for.
I love it. I absolutely love it. 10 out of 10.
Woo. All right. That's probably the most entertaining part of the show. So if you just want to turn it off now, if you're listening, that's fine. I understand.
Yeah, it's all business from here.
Yeah. Because now we're moving on to our weekend rivals. Seth, what did we get up to in game this week? That's actually a really good question.
Just a lot of sucking ass is what we got up to. I talked to some of the kids at school today that play rivals, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I just suck, and I've got to come to come to terms with it. I don't think that's true, but it's been a pretty like not discouraging week or so for us. Like I feel like I'm just hard stuck in plat. I think it was this way last time or last season, wasn't it? We were hard stuck in plat 2, and then all of a sudden one day just magic happened, and like within an hour we had climbed like 2 ranks into diamond 3. So like mid diamond 3 at that. So I don't know. It's just something about there's like a plat 2 slump that we have going on right now.
Yeah, I think you get a lot of the people who want to like make it to plat and then probably just kind of phone it in. I've also realized that at least at the time that we're playing, we tend to get a lot of the same teammates in back-to-back games, and so
Mhm.
if you're not really like good about avoiding his teammate, if you had somebody on your team that wasn't really carrying their weight, you might end up with them again. I don't know. We had such a hot streak to start that it felt like we were just going to easily get into diamond before the midseason split, but I still think we can get there. I think I'm right at the bottom of diamond of plat 1 right now. So we still got a little final push in us.
Yeah, we've got, we're just a few days left, so we might need to wrap this thing up and get to plowing.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. Like it has felt a little bit like a struggle. I feel like dive's really strong again. I feel like there's a lot of Spider-Mans, a lot of Thors, a lot of Angelas, fucking up
Yeah.
backlines.
Yeah.
And it just makes it hard.
Angela's the new Rival Banter ban. That's the
Yeah.
6.0 banter ban.
Yep.
Clock it.
Oh, I like that banter ban. Yeah, Angela's been a nightmare to have to deal with, and Spider-Man's been a nightmare to have to deal with too. So, yeah, the dive is strong, but I'm okay with that. I think dive is fun to play against, and I think we've kind of figured out that if we're getting beat hard by dive, just go thing, just start punching.
Mhm.
It's quabbling
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, it's quabbling time. Hey, check your phones, guys. I think it's
Ooh.
quabbling time.
Oh my gosh, my alarm's going off. It's quabbling time.
So many possibilities.
Any Lord updates for you?
No, I'm just whatever. How about you?
I no new lords for me. I'm probably close on like not close, but I think I'm like level 14 on rogue or something at this point, so feeling pretty good there. I'm a terrible rivals podcast host because I learned something this week that should probably be a basic knowledge thing for anyone who plays this game that much. But I've always kind of avoided Venom because I didn't want like the technical having to figure out the angles of where to swing and stuff like that. But I don't even remember why, but I ended up picking Venom and was like, I'll give him a shot. And I discovered you don't have to aim at a wall or a ledge to swing with Venom. You just press the button and he grabs onto the closest thing to you and you start swinging. And I was like, this is revolutionary for me.
Hmm. And you just go, right? You just
Yeah.
sling that thing and you go where you go.
And I'm like, I can twerk on the back line now with reckless abandon. So I've been playing a little bit more Venom. He's still tough. I'm still not very good with him, but he's a little more approachable. Because with Spider-Man, don't you have to like look at a wall to swing? I think.
I think yeah, I've again, I haven't touched him in like months and months and months, but I think so. Like it's not as like exact as say like the Spider-Man PlayStation game, like the Insomniac one, right? Where you have to like the physics are there. I don't think it's quite to that level, but I do think it is a little bit like there's a little bit more finesse to it than there is with Venom for sure.
Mhm. All right, well, let's move on to the news because we got a lot to get through this week. Um, let's actually save the new skin for when we talk about Elsa Bloodstone here in a little bit, and move on to the new event that's coming, the Monster Kingdom Event Pass, which is going to feature a Rocket Raccoon, a Squirrel Girl, and a Jeff skin. I've got the trailer pulled up here, Seth. Um, Feels like we get a lot of Squirrel Girl in Jeff skins, and so I'm a little disappointed at this event.
I don't know. I'm here for it though. It's got the rocket in there too, like the kind of the little panda costume to it.
Mhm.
There's just so many. We've said it. We've talked about it before. There are just endless like precious possibilities with Jeffrey that I feel like I don't know if we can call him Jeffrey in 2026, but whatever. Um, it's, so many. Like it's just him dressed up like a little duck. Easter's coming up. Maybe he's a chick. I don't know. Whatever it is, he's calling my name. Squirrel Girl. Already like she's already a furry, like just
Mhm.
by nature, and now she's got little furry paws and stuff like that. So I mean, this is the stuff that I think puts the asses in the seats for the larger Marvel Rivals world.
Yeah. Thematically, it makes sense with Elsa Bloodstone as well. I didn't know that she was like a creature hunter, and so this is like a creature themed event. So I like that. I just saw the Jeff Ultimate effects, the visual effect with the like floating ducks on the pond, and that's really
Hmm.
cute.
Yeah, yeah, this is sold for me.
Yeah, I mean it's sold for me too because I just purchased everything in this game at this point. So, but the Rocket skin's cool too. Unfortunately, Rocket is not great right now as a character. All right, next item on the list. This was a funny one, Seth, because there was a story that broke last week where somebody from NetEase reported that NetEase had issued like company guidance banning all AI and shuttering their generative AI research department. And so we're going to start with the original story, then move to the update on the story. But the original article from instantgaming.com says the use of AI in the creative process of video game development remains a subject of debate. Several companies have already adopted these tools, while others remain resistant. However, the case of NetEase Games is quite unique. In an interview with Eurogamer, for the release of his upcoming game Romeo is a Dead Man on February 11, 2026. Goichi Suda51, was asked about generative artificial intelligence. He stated that he had not used the technology. Then he gives a quote. Then he continues. It says he also added that his publisher NetEase had set up a department dedicated to generative AI research and development before eventually closing it down. And Suda said he was unaware of the reason behind the closure as far as not using any AI for our games. It started as a NetEase policy for all their companies. They originally had a section researching and developing AI related stuff, but at one point they decided not to do that anymore. They folded that section and told their studios to not use AI in games, to not use it at all, end quote. And so for a few hours, everybody was like, man, NetEase kind of based and not wanting, AI in their games. But then they issued an update several hours later. And here's the update. It says a representative from NetEase has denied Suda51's claims regarding the closure of the company's AI division. Furthermore, NetEase has not prohibited its studios from using artificial intelligence. Quote, the claim that NetEase Games has shut down an AI department or prohibited its teams or studios from using AI is false. The situation described did not occur, and we have not issued any policy on this matter, end quote. So the story in and of itself is a weird thing. Like, why would Suda51 say this and then NetEase walk it back? Likely some sort of a misunderstanding in the agreement or something like that. Who knows? Seth, we haven't really touched on the topic of AI in games. There was a little bit of controversy with NetEase with the Nutcracker skin for uh, Star Lord, that they had used like an AI generated background for some of the promo, that sort of stuff. Where do you kind of sit on the whole AI debate, both in these creative endeavors, but I'm sure you also have a unique perspective given your position as an educator as well?
It's I feel like mine, like many things that I say, is going to be kind of a non-answer because, like, I do appreciate the possibility of AI, and I can see that it can do a lot of cool things as a tool, right? There's a whole like ethical debate about how to use AI that like nobody really knows how to talk about. Like just kind of saying it needs to be a tool instead of a crutch or whatever. Um, but and then there's the whole other side that I kind of feel too, like the conservative creature down in my soul somewhere, as like a southern man is like, oh, they're taking over, and or something like that. And I don't know, like it's just like you feel like you're feeding the monster every time you use it or something like that. It's getting smarter. It's like the blob.
Hmm.
But I've like used it, like they give like trainings as an educator about how to use AI as a tool to like make your life as a teacher a lot easier. And like it really can. Like it can do a lot of other things. And so like I it's hard for me to like point a finger at anything and say like this is the devil, this is bad. I can see like I think this is like very much the Wild West. This is like this kind of like um I don't, is Promethean the right word? It's like this uh, p- primordial age.
That
Like
one makes
this new
sense to me.
okay, good stuff, good enough. You read a lot more nonfiction than I do. It's like this primordial era, where nobody really knows what they're doing. You've got people like Elon Musk telling people like they don't need to save for retirement anymore because AI is gonna create a what is it like a world of plenty or something like that.
Hmm.
The kind of shit that I don't really buy. You should probably still save for retirement just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. Please continue to save.
Please do. Um, I don't know. It's just I understand using it as a tool. I'm not opposed to it because I think doing this kind of thing can even in games it can make us make better art or enable us to make better art because we're not spending as much time and energy on basic resources, basic things. But at the same time, it's a slippery slope, right? Like there's just so much that this can take away from. Like it can take jobs away from people. But it can like do a lot of replacing, like so many people fear. So I don't know. It's very new, very exciting, and very scary for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. I don't know. I have kind of a challenging relationship with AI because I think, and this is probably just a personality issue with me. I have a tendency a lot of times to think I use AI the right way and everybody else uses it the wrong way. Like I'll see other people using AI and sharing their creations, quote unquote, or something, and I kind of turn my nose up at it. But there are things in my day to day life that I use AI for. I use Gemini. I was trying to repair this old stereo that we got, and I was using like the live camera feature, talking to AI, walking me through the different parts of it and stuff like that. Like
Mm.
those sorts of things, I'm much more like amenable to when it comes to using AI. I also like to use AI as like a brainstorming partner when I'm trying to think through an issue at work. I'll be like, ask me some questions that'll get my mind moving on this issue more so that I can figure out how to do it. Where I don't necessarily like it as much is by saying, like, write this thing for me, make this image for me, do this thing for me. Um, I like to use AI to do things I that other people don't have the time to do, like sit in a room with me and ask me a bunch of questions to help me work through a problem. Or things I would never have the time to do. So like I built like an AI workflow at my job that would scan like feedback channels for our games and then create like weekly reports about what our community was like most talking about when it came to certain things going on in the game, and that would get delivered up to our development team to take into consideration for their next patches and stuff like that. So, um, and that it like I could never sort through the thousands and thousands of comments that we get each week for our game. So for me, if AI is being used to do things that would otherwise be impossible to do or very inconvenient to do, I'm all for it. But when it starts replacing the actual human effort and energy required, the things that I think make art, that's when I start to turn my nose up at it a little. Let me ask you this, Seth. If it turns out that like you're a big Brandon Sanderson fan, I know.
Yeah, big
Um,
time.
if it turned out that like the last chapter of his book, he just had like Chat GPT write it, like how would that feel?
Well, number one, that's never gonna happen
No,
because
I know.
Brandon Sanderson and the team at Dragonsteel have
Done no
yeah,
wrong.
very strong. Well, no, they have very strong opinions about AI and its
Mhm,
uses. So I don't think we got to worry about that ship getting sunk anytime soon. But I would be. It depends on how the AI was used, I guess, or in what capacity. Um, because again, like I don't care if people are using it kind of in the ways that you said, like maybe like as a research tool or something
mhm.
like that to kind of like facilitate things for them or make the process easier so that they can like Brandon Sanderson. I've got conspiracy theories of my own for how he can do so many things. But you know, I just love believing in the dream. um, yeah, I do think if it was just straight up an AI generated slop, then number one, I think you could tell
Yeah.
that it would have like a very different flow or different vibe to it. So I would automatically probably not like it very much, or at least not as much as his prose and his style.
Mhm. Yeah, no, and I think that, like that's kind of the extremes you have to take it though, right? Like I don't think Brandon Sanderson, you have to like you said, you don't have to worry about that. But if a company starts using AI generated backgrounds for character assets that they have, is it a slippery slope to them using AI to generate character models for them and like or costumes for the characters that they're putting out. And so it's like where do you kind of draw that line? And for me it's just if it's creating something that a person could create, that's when I start to think like ugh, I don't like that.
Mhm.
Especially in the
Yeah.
games industry. It's hard. It's a hard industry to get into. I know I struggled for years to get into it until I finally broke in. And I came in a junior position to, like in a lower role. And if AI is being used to kind of sweep up those roles, it's really only going to benefit the people that already have the experience. One last quick thing on AI, and then we can move on. But I joined a Discord server. This was probably like 2 years ago. I was still living in Santa Monica. I was a part of this like deconstruction community, and I joined the Discord server for this creator that I watched, and he had an art section of his Discord server, uh, but all of it was AI art. All of it was like these people just generating AI art and sharing it in there, and then they'd all talk to each other about it. They had like a role for AI artist or whatever, and they talked about how the art for them was like perfecting the prompts that you put in and that sort of stuff. And that just left a really bad taste in my mouth because that to me feels like stolen valor. Like you're not an artist. You're literally just like big tittied woman riding polar bear generate. Like
Yeah, I mean, and again, art's such a it's it's kind of not a slippery slope in itself, but it's so vague in terms of like what it is, and it's so difficult to define. Kind of like lots of things. Like you could say the same thing about like pornography or something like
mhm,
that, right? Um, Talking about putting the asses in the seats. So I don't know. It's wild, and plus too, there's this whole other side I didn't even think about before. But like, I think we don't even really understand like the impact that this stuff has on like the environment
mhm,
and all that kind of stuff. Kind of adds a whole nother dimension to the discussion. But I don't know. I'm not gonna fix it today,
Yeah.
and I'm never really gonna have the agency to do that. So 6-7, everybody.
Well, and but also like it's not just the environmental drain, especially in the gaming industry. Think about the way that these things are impacting like PC components. I saved 2 sticks of RAM in my cart last year, and they were like $60 for, I think it was 64 gigs of RAM. I went back to that same exact listing or around Christmas, and it was like $600 for that same
Hmm.
RAM. So it's like AI is kind of exacerbating issues that are going to make gaming less accessible, and I think that's something that the industry should consider when choosing what tools to adopt in that space. Uh, all right, last story on our list comes from Sheep Esports. Good to see them still kicking. They kind of started up when I was in the esports scene, so
Hmm.
so this is cool. But we have our 12 new partner teams announced for Marvel Rivals Championship, and they are as follow. We've got Navi, Virtus Pro. We got FlyQuest, Space Station Gaming, Gen G, Heretics, Sentinels. I can't quite remember which team that one is. I'll look it up in a second. TSM, Team Liquid, NRG, who's bringing back the Shock branding from San Francisco Shock, which is very exciting, and
Hey.
100 Thieves. Let me get that last team for you. Reject
Hmm.
is the other team. So these are kind of spread throughout different regions. I think I think Asia or China has 2 of these slots. I think Europe has like 4, and then I think the Americas have like 8. So, Seth, who on this list are you excited to see?
You know who I'm excited about. I say I'm a big Space Station Gaming fan. I just kind of loosely follow Space Station Gaming. If like Halo's on, or back when I don't even they might have got back into Apex Legends. I don't know. I know like when Larry and I went to Raleigh to watch the ALGS. We were I was rooting for Space Station there. I've like slowly been acquiring Space Station stuff. Like I've got a flag hung up in our esports room at school. I got my blanket hoodie, this year's blanket hoodie, like it's kind of space station decked out style. So I'm very excited. This is like this is gonna enable me to be one of those guys that like goes to esports events, like our FlyQuest gang at
Hmm.
DreamHack Atlanta this past fall. And you and I, or at least me, I can get up and start running up and down the aisles with the flag, waving the flag, ripping our shirts off or whatever. I kind of like wondered if this was coming because I know like I saw like a space station guy like in his jersey or like his team whatever. I didn't know if he was like a fan or if he was a guy, but he was with like one of the press people from 100 Thieves, and I was like,
Mm.
something's happening here, something's cooking, and sure as shit, it's here. It is. So
Yeah, I
some
knew.
conspiracies are real.
I knew you were going to be excited about Space Station. I know that's been your team and other esports. I'm a big FlyQuest fan. I'm excited that they're staying in the scene. They did lose a lot of their core. Um, I think Liquid ended up signing away like 3 of the players that were on their roster from last year. Um, but yeah, it was good to see. It's good to see FlyQuest in there. It's good to see Sentinels and 100 Thieves were incentivized enough to want to come back, despite some of the speculation there near the end of the season. Obviously, Navi back um, in Virtus Pro. Obviously, I'm very excited about the Shock branding from NRG coming back. So NRG was the owners of the San Francisco Shock back in the Overwatch League days. So some of that old Overwatch League gear I have might start coming back into relevancy, which makes me pretty happy. I went back and started watching some old Overwatch League matches from like season 1 and was just like, damn, those were the days, man. I wish somebody would tell you you're in the good old days before you leave them. Like, it's just beautiful.
The good news about that is that like that applies to like every day in which you exist. So, you're fucking living it right now, brother.
Yeah, but you have to understand that I have not, nor will I, learn my lesson, and I will continue to not cherish the moment. Um, the other surprising thing to me in this list was TSM. Not necessarily, I mean, it was kind of surprising that TSM is here, but more so the region that they're deciding to participate in. They're going to be an America's team. So, Team Solo Mid, for you guys that don't know, one of the like OG esports orgs. And they had a long standing team in the LCS, the North American League of Legends. They participated in tons and tons of other games, a lot of fighting games and stuff like that. By the time I ended at Golden Guardians, TSM was the other team who'd given up their slot and moved to the LPL in China. So it was a little surprising to me that they were going to be operating um, their rivals team in North America, because I'm just not sure they have any other properties really in this region. So that was cool. But I'm getting really excited. We're about a month away from the kickoff of the Marvel Rivals Ignite, and I will be invested a lot more heavily, I think, because of these partner teams.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm very excited.
That was another cool thing in Overwatch when I loaded it up is they have like an esports store now with some of the like partner teams that they have, and it kind of gave me an idea of what. And they also have just kind of unique skins that you can buy that aren't necessarily affiliated with a team, but the proceeds go to the esports. Uh,
Uh,
you know,
wh- when you say esports store, what are we talking here?
so in the shop they have a store where you can purchase cosmetics. So some of it is
Oh,
like,
in the game, in the
yeah,
game.
in
Okay,
game, in game.
I thought you were about to tell me I could start buying Overwatch shit again, like
No,
Overwatch specific merch, and I was about to, that might be what it takes to get me back into the game.
I was at a thrift store this weekend and saw an old Lucio New Era hat. It almost got me.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, you should have. Why didn't you?
I don't know, man. It will
That's not
likely
your
go back.
style. That's
Yeah, I
that's
was kind of switched to these dad hats, this like corduroy Mountain Dew hat I wear all the time. I used to wear the flat bill New Eras all the time, but I was a younger man then.
hmm.
Better knees. So. All right, let's move
There's
on
a
to our.
direct correlation between your knees, and your hat wear, your headwear, whatever.
Well, once you start hearing your knees crack every time you bend down, you're like, maybe I should switch to a more reasonable hat.
I don't know, like Spike Jones, or is it Spike Lee? I think
The
it's Spike.
director, Spike Lee.
Yeah, Spike
Spike
Lee.
Jones
Sorry,
is an
Spike.
actor, right?
What? Who is Spike Jones?
Maybe he's a fighter. I don't know.
No, no, they were like
Spike Jones is
kind
an
of
American musician, band leader, and conductor. He's old. He dead. He died
okay.
19 and 65 in Beverly Hills. He
N-
was married to Helen Greco from 1948 to 1965 and Patricia Middleton from 1935 to
No, 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 no.
1946.
That's a different. This one's is Jones with a Z.
Oh, is an American filmmaker, actor, musician, and photographer.
Different director. Like they're both directors, but he did a bunch of weird stuff. I'm
So
thinking.
he
I
was
was
born
thinking
in
Spike.
1969,
Mm,
and the other Spike Jones with an S died in 1965. So do with
gotcha.
that
So
what you will. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, conspiracies. No, Spike Lee is who I was thinking of. He's like 100 years old, and he wears like those. He's like got a whole thing. He's like he pretty much invented the new era fitted like Yankees cap look.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah,
you
but
can
he's
do
like
whatever you want to
cool
do.
and rich. And I'm neither of those things. So
Well, you're special to me.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Seth. Couldn't bring himself to call me cool, but I am special to him. All right, let's move on to our topic of the day. We have season 6.5 news, and we have a lot of it. First and foremost, Elsa Bloodstone is coming to the game, and she is going to be a duelist. So, Seth, you said hard DPS yesterday or last week,
Clock it,
and you
clock it.
were right. Clock it, baby. That's a point for you. I don't know what the prize is, but uh, Seth, what are your first impressions seeing this trailer? And
I mean, she looks awesome to me. I think there's a lot of like possibility. There's a lot to play around with, probably with kind of figuring out how these traps work and like how her utilizing her monsters and all that stuff goes. I probably need to watch the trailer a little bit more in depth myself, but I was excited. I love the idea. Like her ult just seems like this madness. Like you're just pushing. I think there's a lot of possibility for like how to use that ult, and that's going to take some playing around with too. Um, she's really cool. The guns are cool. I wasn't really sure how the big guns were going to work, but the big guns look like they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, I think I was a little surprised she was a duelist. A lot of people were thinking either Vanguard or strategist for her. But when she was announced as a duelist, I had kind of an idea of what kind of a like play style she'd take. She did not meet those expectations at all. I thought that she was going to be more of kind of a sniper character, but she feels a lot more. It looks like she's a lot more Bucky esque, where she wants to be kind of up in the fray. You're trying to stack your damage because she has a passive where dealing damage reduces the cooldowns of her other abilities. So she's going to be kind of in the middle of the fray, and I think sort of brawl like Bucky can, which I think is a lot more exciting than a sniper character, like a lot of people expected her to be.
I'm about to read some Elsa Bloodstone comics. Put that Marvel Unlimited subscription to use.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if Larry wants to join us for next week's episode. He apparently knows who Elsa Bloodstone is and like is a huge fan of Elsa Bloodstone, which checks out. Larry loves all kinds of obscure shit, so it doesn't surprise me. But and I know he's gonna be excited about about her being a duelist. So maybe we'll get him on the show and he can give us some education.
I don't know if I want to like subject myself to him just like sitting there sniffing his own farts in a out of a goblet made of monster tears or whatever. I don't know. I lost it.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. We'll bring we'll bring Larry on next week, and you can you know tell him that yourself.
Just really let him have it.
Yeah,
Listen
yeah.
here.
We'll give you a week to craft that message. I'm just gonna say, come with something stronger than what you just brought. So, the other thing about this reveal is I'm very happy with kind of how straightforward she looks. The last few characters that we've gotten have been just absolutely diabolical when it comes to their character overview sheets. This one, she has like a trap, she has like a dash, she can change her weapons, and that seems to be about it for her. Like not too much heavily involved in it. And we've talked about it in the past. Like that's part of the issue with adding characters as quickly as they're adding them is you feel like you have to top the last one that you did. And after Deadpool, I was really afraid they were going to try to like just increase the wackiness, and I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
The ult does look cool as shit though, dude. Like the being able to use it to like push people off the map or pull people to you. She like summons this giant ass monster. Very interested to see how that turns out in the game. I also think she's just going to be strong in the meta if this is her playstyle. Although we have like Blade, who kind of I think plays in that same range too, who has not been that strong. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Also, like kind of a monster hunter too. Like he's a vampire hunter. I like. I think there's a lot of. I don't know. I think she's a cool fit and somebody I wouldn't really expect, but I like where I like this direction.
Yeah. Then we got to look at the first skin for her. It is going to be the Elsa Bloodstone Youngblood skin, and in this she goes from a redhead to a blonde, and I don't know, is she some sort of like bounty hunter? What is she supposed to be in
She
this?
made me think of like a cop from Resident Evil. Like I thought it was almost
Yeah.
like a Resident Evil collab when I don't know exactly what, or I'm not familiar. I'm not caught up on my Resident Evil lore as much as some are. I feel like she's the Resident Evil 3 lady. Don't know if that's what they were going for, but I don't know. I mean, this is fine. I feel like there's like an old man's joke about women's hair color in here somewhere that I don't want to say and that isn't very funny. But
Mhm.
it it is what it is.
But everyone that watched Kid Rock this weekend
You
probably
know what
thought
I'm
of it.
talking about.
Yeah,
They know what
yeah,
I'm talking about.
you guys know ball with the ball, the bang, diggy diggy. Yeah, it's cool. I know I'm probably never going to play Elsa Bloodstone all that much, so I'm excited about her
I,
being added.
she's kind of tempting me a little bit. If I'm like I doubt I'll be able to do much with her. You know, I can play all of like two DPS characters well, maybe three on a good day. Maybe she could be my fourth.
Yeah,
Is that how polygamous sound?
ball with the ball, the bang,
Kid Rock raises his 7,000-year-old fist. Hell yeah, brother.
yeah. He looks more and more
Yeah.
like Jeff Foxworthy every time I see him. Have you noticed that?
No, I try not to look directly at him. Kind of
It's like Medusa.
like the sun. Like,
He's got one of those presences that you can't look away from. It's kind of like seeing a turd in the middle of a Target aisle. You're like, this is gross, and I don't want to be here, but I can't stop looking.
maybe if I stare long enough, I'll be able to. I'll get the story. Like someone will come,
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, was that mine?"
How did we get here? Exactly. Oh God. All right. Some other news from Guang Guang's update for us this week. They are removing the Fantastic Four team up, which was a little surprising to me. I thought we were never going to lose the Fantastic Four team up. Invisible Woman is going to get added to to a Strange team up, where Doctor Strange will now be able to pull people into him with his. I'm so bad at like what the names of the moves are, but when his
Yeah.
dark magic gets overloaded and he has to release.
So it's gonna have like a kind of venomy thing to it,
Yeah,
like kind of some suction. Yeah.
yeah. Somebody suck me. You've been playing a lot more Strange. Are you excited for a new Fandangled toy?
I think so. Yeah, this I think this sounds fun. I kind of know what some of these things are, but I think the news had dropped during the school day, and then by the time I got to esports practice after school, like a moment came where like I had left the room and I walked back in, and like 6 or 7 kids were like shouting at me, just about all these different updates and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Uh, all right. Then we've got Elsa Bloodstone is going to be joining the Jeff and Deadpool team up, the interdimensional toy box. And if I understand right, the way that her team up is going to work is if you get hit by special bullets that she has, they're called boombox bullets, and if whoever you hit is just going to hear a bunch of Deadpool one liners in their ear, and then you can summon the bullet back to you to restore health, I think is how it works. So um just more annoying shit coming from Deadpool, man, which look, I'm okay with that sort of stuff where it's like a design.
Hmm.
Then we have the Thing getting added to Gamma Charge, with Hulk being the anchor, Black Panther's the other member in that already. So he is going to be able to like Gamma charge his fists and then get bonus health back to him when he's punching.
I love this. I feel like it's gonna be as annoying as shit to play against, but I love I don't know, something about it. I love the idea. I feel like there are gonna be some cool voice lines going along with it too. I don't know. It's I feel like this is gonna be a game changer for the thing.
A couple people in our Discord were talking about how, and I think this is a good point, like the tank team ups kind of struggle sometimes because tanks, it's so specific like what tanks certain people play, so you might not encounter this one very often, but you're right, it's going to be fun as shit when you have it. You're just a hulking thing running at people's back lines. And then we've got Mr. Fantastic joining the Rocket Network with Rocket Raccoon and Star Lord. So he connects to the network and unlocks the Fantastic Amplifier ability. So if I am remembering this right, he is able to like absorb more, and it delays when he goes to his inflation mode and stuff like that. I don't know. That's the one I didn't understand, but I don't understand Mr. Fantastic's kit to begin with. So
I think from what I understand, he's kind of gaining some longevity to his ult, which kind of like depending on how well you use it, kind of like affects its longevity anyway. I think that's what I took away from it, but there's some other stuff in there too that I'm sure we'll understand a little bit better next week.
mhm. Then we have the Gambit and Rogue Valentine event that's going to be happening in Times Square. There's going to be a little like wedding processional that you'll be able to view, and you'll get some units from that. And then a new tournament on February 21st and 22nd, Deadpool's Monster Kingdom Championships. which is a tournament you'll be able to enter. There's no rank restrictions or anything like that, and you'll get rewards for based off of how you place in that tournament. Seth, I said this in the Discord. I'll say it on the show too. I felt like we were a little lighter on the news when it came to this update compared to other past updates. Do you get that feeling? I haven't confirmed this by going back at all, but do you get
I
that
don't know. I
sense?
mean, maybe I would probably have to go look back too, but I feel like this is a lot of really cool news, even if it's maybe not as much news as we normally get, and I'm fine with that. I'm always kind of more in favor of quality over quantity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got the characters, the events. I don't even think they talked about the new event that we talked about, the Monster Kingdom event, in that video. So, I mean, we did get some news, but yeah, it just felt like it was a little bit lacking. But then again, the Deadpool thing just lasted a month. So, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hype train leading up to it.
we're kind of coming like off of its coattails still. Like we just couldn't stop hearing about that. I think this is fine, and I think we're kind of reaching that point too, where like not every update has to have these huge balance shifts or whatever. I don't think there's anything like groundbreaking in these balance changes coming up necessarily. Um,
Yeah, let's talk about these balance changes. I have some thoughts.
okay, okay,
Um, so let me share my screen here. I love this little image that the Rivals team puts out to cover their stuff. We only have 2 pages. The third page is the team ups that we just talked about. So we have 4 Vanguards getting some adjustments. Thor is going to get a little bit of a bump to his durability with reduced bonus health during Storm Surge, going from 75 to 50. In his hammer throw has a new effect now that grants him 50 bonus health on hit. And then Doctor Strange is getting a minor nerf to his shield recovery time, which doesn't seem like that big a deal. Venom is getting some survivability changes. He's getting 25 extra health and getting a higher damage to bonus health conversion from his ult. And then Rogue is getting some good changes as well. They're reducing the fatal attraction cooldown, which is her dash that goes into the pulling people in, from 17 seconds to 14 seconds. And they're increasing the defensive stance absorb damage energy conversion rate from 0.27 to 0.35. That one's really exciting to me. I've been playing a lot more Rogue. The thing that feels the worst about Rogue is that you just use your buttons and then you don't have anything to do for the next 10 seconds. So reducing cooldowns, I think, is really the pace to go with her. Are there any of these Vanguard changes that jump out to you?
nothing like huge or in particular. Yeah, I mean, nothing that I'm like gonna be sweating about tonight or anything like that.
Yeah. Then moving on to our strategist, Invisible Woman is getting a little bit of a cooldown nerf to her force physics, her shove, from 8 seconds to 10. Ultron's going to do healing. His drones are going to heal over a larger area of effect. And then Loki's going to do a little less healing with his mystical missiles. But the big news here, Adam Warlock, Mr. No Mobility, finally getting some mobility. He is going to have a flight mode that he can enter and fly at 10 meters per second for 4 seconds, with the energy fully recharging from 0 to max in 15 seconds. And then he gets a new hovering effect to his soul bond. So as long as soul bond is active, you'll be able to hover around with Adam. Do you think this is going to be
Hmm.
enough to kind of pull him in?
I think that I don't know about pull him in. I think this is kind of an incentive to like try him out and play him a little bit more. And this does kind of sweeten the pot a little bit for him. I like the Ultron update too. Kind of like I think they're trying to do everything they can to make him feel better. And like more playable in the day to day, and maybe not so much of like a third wheel support play champion.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is kind of where I think like a lot of the cool stuff is, but there's also a lot of DPS stuff coming up here as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, let's run through these real quick. So Deadpool is getting some increased healing amount during his ultimate ability. Phoenix is getting a base health reduction. Psylocke is getting a buff to her damage fall off, but a nerf to her single hit damage for her ultimate ability, which I think is a good change. Um, I'm going to save some of these to group up all together. Moon Knight is getting a reduction in the bonus health from his Moonblade from 100 to 75. Squirrel Girl increasing the projectile speed of Squirrel Blockade, which is that her? That's her like CC ability, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Um,
I would want to say so. Again, the names elude me a lot of the
yeah,
time.
yeah, same. And then we have three really strange ult charge changes. So the Punisher, Wolverine, and Star Lord are all going to be getting their ults uh, quicker now, much more frequently. And then Storm is getting kind of a massive not a massive rework, but a rework where her tornado is going to have some new effects, her thunder is going to have new effects. Thunder and lightning has new effects, and then reducing the damage. They'll reduce the damage boost, and then they're cleaning up some of the animations. So, I think kind of leaning more into the Storm support DPS style where she's kind of buffing the teams around her.
Mhm.
But she's also getting benefit from it as well with like bonus health and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Seth, what do you make of both the DPS changes and then kind of overall?
The storm stuff is cool. Like I remember a time really early on, like season maybe 0 or 1, where I feel like she was a force. And like if you, like everybody was kind of playing Storm because she had this like kind of offensive but also supportive quality to her. I'm excited for this. I don't know that anything still on here is like gonna like ground breaking, totally changing up the meta necessarily or anything like that. But I do think there's enough of a shift here to like where it might have some ripples. So I'm anxious to see how it goes. Um, Moon Knight just needs to get fucked. I think right now is that's this is a start, but keep it coming.
Yeah. Um, I've got several thoughts here. Number one, I'm not excited about the Star Lord change. I feel like this is going to put Star Lord into that kind of ban him territory because he's already kind of an ult merchant. So uh,
Hmm.
this is just going to make him even more of an ult merchant. Wolverine, I don't know. Like, I wish that they would have like maybe done some more stuff to his base kit and not necessarily his ultimate because I think his base kit's just a lot more engaging. The Punisher stuff doesn't make any sense to me. So um, I don't know who's asking for more ults in this game. Like that's my big qualm with a lot of the changes that they're making in this patch is just like,
Well, especially with you playing Overwatch more too, and like
yeah.
the difference in the way the old we've talked to at length, I think, on this show too, like the difference in how fights feel moment to moment with like the frequency with which you get them in Rivals versus the infrequency that you get them in Overwatch. So yeah, I don't think that we need to like speed up just more ults, more torque all the time. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
This is not the Turning Point halftime show. This is a sport,
Yeah,
a gentleman's game.
yes, yes. uh yeah, the neutral in this game just is so irrelevant. Like the game is mostly about who can use their ults in the right order to steamroll a fight. And if you can't figure that out, everyone just hold your ults for one fight and we'll just use all six of them and win. And there's not really much impunity to do that because in two fights, everyone's probably going to have their ults again. Some people in the next fight. But I started trying to play some more Mantis lately, just because I like that new skin that came out, and I lorded Mantis way back in the day. But Rivals has a huge problem with these characters that just feel like you are never going to get the same value out of them as you do people because do other characters because of the impact of their ult. Like you're never going to choose to play Mantis over Cloak and Dagger, over Gambit, over Invisible Woman, over Luna. Like there's very few scenarios where those characters fit. Um, and I think the only way to kind of pull those characters like Adam Warlock, like Mantis, that don't necessarily rely so heavily on their ultimates is to nerf ultimates across the board so that the neutral game is more important. Because yeah, there's just not much reason to choose some characters because of that. The other issue that I take with this update, Seth, or these balance changes is they're still not really doing anything to address triple support. And we're 6 months into 6, 7 months into, uh, you know, triple support hell. And it just doesn't seem like it's something they can figure the solution to out. Yes,
Mhm.
they can't figure out the solution. Um, and I don't think any of these changes move the needle for that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Just kind of like at a glance, for sure.
I was like totally blown away, not blown away, I guess isn't the right word, but shockingly reminded about how inflated stats are in Rivals by going back to Overwatch. Cause like a good game as a healer in Overwatch is like 10,000 healing. And if somebody on my team had 10,000 healing in Marvel Rivals, I would find them and hunt them for sport. You know, like so it's just the whole feel of like the game is so different, and it's just reminded me how overtuned every character in this game is. And I really liked that approach when they did that big kind of oops all buffs patch several seasons ago, but I thought that they were doing that to kind of reset uh other characters. But we've kind of strayed away from where they were, I think, in the first 6 months of this game's life, where each patch kind of allowed a different character to rise to the top and another would fall off. Now it's just like we're going to raise characters, and then the next season we're going to bring all the characters that were underneath them up to their level now. And the power creep's insane.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
so I don't know what needs to change. I don't know if this is like a design philosophy thing, that all of this stuff is intentional, or if they're just like so deep in the weeds with the buffs that they don't really know how to go back. Part of me feels like they are just really worried about pissing off like certain mains, like if you main Invisible Woman and she gets nerfed into the ground.
Yeah, that's I mean again, we've talked a lot about slippery slopes in this show, but that's another one too, right? Like you feel like you can't piss off too many people at once, or like, especially if it's a super popular character, they've got the data, I'm sure, to say, everybody's playing Invisible Woman or everybody's got Luna or Cloak and Dagger. Like they're in pretty much every smart lobby that you can play. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, for sure. And but I do think they need to get back to the actual like concept of balance, which is if we're going to make some characters stronger, we need to make some characters weaker. And kind of, and especially like I was so excited about the month-long half seasons because I thought it gave them more opportunity to do that kind of thing. Like, oh wow, Gambit's really strong this season. We're gonna nerf him, but we'll bring another character and make them fun, in the next half season. And it just doesn't feel like they've really adopted that. And I feel like the I don't know. It feels a little bit like those downhill derbies where they like build their own cars and they have to see if they can make it down to the bottom.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I feel like that's what this pacing is at this point, and like we're halfway down the hill on this month long half seasons, and they don't know how to reset the balance of the game because they're constantly having to worry about the new character that they're putting in and how that's going to impact things. And it just feels a little wildly out of control at this point.
Maybe not. I don't know if it's wildly out of control, but like it's I don't know. I don't know if there's a better analogy for it, but maybe mildly out of control.
The wheels are starting to wobble a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
things.
I was like,
Yeah.
things are getting toasty, yeah, that kind of thing.
And none of that's to say I'm not having fun with the game or anything like
Oh no,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But, I think I would prefer something a little more neutral focused, a little less alt heavy, and a little more thought uh, put into the balance changes. Cause right now it just feels like they're kind of throwing darts at a dartboard to see who they're going to give a buff to. Star Lord he's an alt charge buff. That's crazy. So
Still, what are we still like? We've got like a whole one Luna nerf in the one
Yeah.
plus year that we've had her in our
Yeah.
lives. Yeah. So I don't know. It's again, it's fine as long as they keep doing what they're doing. I'm gonna be happy no matter what.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Before we get out of here, Seth, what's something you're excited about with this change coming up this week?
I'm excited. I'm excited just for Elsa in general. I think this kind of looks intriguing to me, which is rare for a new duelist. I've enjoyed playing Phoenix some since she came out, but I don't think like I've been excited for a duelist launching since like Mr. Fantastic, like one of the first ones to come out,
Mhm.
post launch. So I think that that sounds really cool. I'm really looking forward to getting some more units. Looking to see what some of these new skins and stuff are going to be. I love me and a good event pass too, so I'm anxious to see that. And yeah, I'm just kind of again like you just give me the new stuff. I'm always excited to kind of see it. Um, I think that this game maybe is helping me with some of my anxiety around change because it is so like in the real world it's just constantly changing in so many ways, and like you just kind of adapt and you roll with the punches. And so, going through these patch notes, kind of like living and playing through the nuances of each patch, kind of like I don't know, it just puts things in perspective a little bit more.
For sure. Um, I'm really excited about the rogue changes. I've been playing her a lot already, and they're fixing the thing that I think needs fixed on her, which is some of the old or not old cooldowns, but ability cooldowns. And then obviously the Elsa Bloodstone stuff. So, um, but yeah, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. Let us know your thoughts on season 6.5, on the new partner teams, on AI, whatever you want to let us know about. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, commenting, all sharing, all that sort of stuff. We promised you a long one this week. It has been a long one. It's an hour and a half. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we will see you next week. Until then, good luck in your games. Good luck on the climb. We love you. Goodbye.